If you were a doctor in the 1970s and a patient came to you with severe heart disease, there was usually only one real option: open heart surgery. It meant cutting the chest open. It meant major physical trauma. It meant long recovery times. And it meant that not every patient could survive the treatment itself. That was the reality of heart care at the time. But then one man asked a question that sounded almost absurd. What if you could treat the blockage from the inside? Today, that idea sounds normal, routine even. But back then, it sounded reckless. The man who dared to ask that question was Andreas Gruentzig, the pioneer of angioplasty and one of the people who changed modern cardiology forever. His idea was simple in concept, but radical in practice. Instead of opening the body with a scalpel, why not guide a thin tube, a catheter through the blood vessels, reach the narrowed artery, and expand it from within using a tiny balloon? Now that sounds like modern medicine. Back then, it sounded like madness. The heart was considered far too dangerous, far too delicate, far too unforgiving for that kind of experiment. A single mistake could mean death. To many experts, the entire idea seemed irresponsible. Some dismissed it. Some criticized it harshly. Some believed it would never work. But Gruentzig kept going. Because while others saw a violation of medical orthodoxy, he saw patients. He saw people who were too weak for major surgery. He saw people whose lives were hanging in the balance. He saw the desperate need for a less invasive path. And he believed that path could exist, even if no one else could see it yet. So he kept researching. He kept refining his tools. He kept improving the technique. Failure after failure, adjustment after adjustment, he moved forward. He was not working in a world that welcomed him with applause. He was working against doubt, resistance, and the enormous weight of accepted medical thinking. Still, he pressed on. And then came the breakthrough. Gruentzig performed the world's first successful coronary angioplasty. That moment was more than a medical achievement. It was the opening of a new road in the history of medicine. Until then, many believed that blocked coronary arteries could only be treated by opening the chest. Gruentzig proved that there was another way, a way to reach the heart without cutting the body open, a way to save lives without a scalpel. That single breakthrough changed everything. What began as a controversial idea became one of the foundations of modern cardiovascular treatment. Over time, balloon angioplasty evolved further and led to the widespread use of stents and catheter-based interventions that are now performed all over the world. Today, millions of people have been treated through methods built on the path he helped create, and the impact goes far beyond the procedure itself. Less invasive treatment often means less pain, shorter recovery, more options for older or fragile patients, a better chance to return to normal life, more time with family, more ordinary days that never would have happened otherwise. In that sense, Gruentzig did not simply change a technique. He changed what survival could look like. He changed what recovery could feel like. He changed the future for people who might once have faced only fear, risk, and limited hope. And maybe the most important part of his story is this: he was not celebrated at first. He was doubted. That is often how history works. The people who change the future rarely begin as heroes in the eyes of their own time. First, they are told they are dangerous, then unrealistic, then impossible to take seriously. And only later does the world quietly rearrange itself around what they proved. Andreas Gruentzig was one of those people. He challenged medical orthodoxy. He refused to accept that the existing way was the only way. He saw a wall that everyone else treated as permanent, and he decided it could be broken. That is why his legacy matters so much. Not because he sought fame, not because his story is dramatic in the usual Hollywood sense, but because he made something new possible for humanity. You could even say he helped map a new route into the human heart, not poetically, but literally. He found a way through a place once thought unreachable without major surgery. He drew a path where none existed before. And today, doctors across the world still follow variations of that path. Because of him, countless patients have been saved without ever having their chest opened. Because of him, what once sounded absurd became standard care. Because of him, modern medicine became gentler, faster, and in many cases safer. And that is what makes his story so powerful. This is not just a story about cardiology. It is a story about what happens when someone dares to question a terrifyingly strong consensus. New ideas are often rejected before they are understood. Real innovation often looks unreasonable before it looks inevitable. Gruentzig lived inside that tension. He stood between ridicule and possibility, between tradition and transformation, between what medicine had always done and what medicine might become. And he chose to keep going. So when we think about the technologies that save lives today, it is worth remembering that many of them began with one person refusing to bow to accepted limits. Andreas Gruentzig was one of those people, a quiet revolutionary, a pioneer of angioplasty, a man who helped save lives without a scalpel. He may not be a household name, but every time a patient is treated through a catheter instead of a major open procedure, his legacy is still there, alive, working, saving hearts. And perhaps that is the true mark of an unsung hero. Not that the world knows your name, but that the world keeps living because of what you dared to change.